women. And and my my dear and wonderful uh, teammate, Candy Martin, she's going to join in with us, and she's going to be part of the talk, part of the presentation. It's not all perfect. We're not all perfect. We're just not up here to do a show. We're up here to really to talk and to bring some information to each of you that perhaps can help with things going on with you or things going on with people that you know and love, the women that you know and love. So, Candy, are you there? You want to say good morning?
I'm here. Good morning, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and get started. You ready, Marlena?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. All right. Tell us a little bit about you, Marlena. Why are you on this crusade to help us?
Oh my gosh, you're the one that got me on this crusade. Um, I have always been about helping people, and especially women, understand how money works. For the last 20 years, I've been teaching credit education and tying that in with real estate, but have lots to do with teaching people about how the credit system works and moving into teaching, sharing about how money works just is along the flow. It's along the flow with information that we don't receive in school, that we may not have received from our parents because our parents didn't know. Um, and that I always say that we hear this information from voices. You know, this happened to this lady that I work with her credit cards. Or one of the guys that I know from the gym, he was having a really hard time trying to make his money work, grow, pay his debts. And we never really we rarely are have the opportunity to sit down and listen to and talk about the correct information so that we know that it's just not about the voices telling us that there really is a system and we just have to know the rules of the game. So we're going to talk about some of those things, and you're going to have to pardon me because I have excuse me, I have allergies happening, and so every now and then I have to bite my nose. Okay, I'm ready if you are.
All right. Well, I'm Marlena's business partner. My name is Candy Martin, and just like Marlena, I've been on this crusade a while. This is year 26 for me in the industry, and throughout the course of my time, I've been concerned about making sure that all people, but primarily women, for the obvious reason, that we know what we need to know, and that any information that I learn, that I turn around and I share it. So what we'll do on today is we're going to go over some information. We're going to talk about some statistics. We're going to talk about some things, maybe some funny stories here and there. Just some life instances, maybe some people that we know, people that you may know because you all are guests of Marlena as well. But we're going to just have a conversation. And so at the end, just if you would allow us, we're going to go through the entire presentation so that everybody can get all of the information, take your notes and everything. And at the end, we'll open it up for questions and answers or any concerns. And so just allow us time to go through them all. Let's start.
Okay, so ladies, what keeps you up at night? Do you feel like you're never going to get ahead? Are you worried about outliving your money? Who will take care of you when you get sick? And how do you create generational wealth?
And so those are some of the things we want you guys to think. I'm gonna go back to it real quick.
Yep.
It's kind of like your homework. We want you to think about these things as we go through as Marlena goes
And
through the presentation.
right. And so we're bringing certain things up just to kind of tickle your tickle your thought process, and maybe you experience some of these things or have. You know, by 2030, women are expected to control 30 trillion, get that, 30 trillion of the financial assets in the United States. That's about 2/3 of the entire wealth of the nation. That's huge. We earn the majority of college and graduate degrees. We make up nearly half the workforce. We hold more than half the management and professional careers. 2/3 of women hold nearly all outstanding student loans. How about that one? 60% of women represent almost all of the college students earning bachelor degrees. 10% of women, a year after graduation, owe more in student loan debt than men.
So what we want to give you some tips on how to take control of those things if that applies to you. Do your due diligence on your student loan options. Find out what's available to you. And remember, if you're about to apply for student loan or you're considering it, don't borrow more than you need on best terms. You want to get the best repayment options that are suitable for you. And when you graduate, because sometimes when you're in college, everything's on hold. So you want to make sure that when you graduate or after graduation, or if this is, some people that you know in your family, like your daughters that are in college, or your nephews or whomever, you want to make sure that they reevaluate their loan repayment plan, because what they got before school may be different now that they're out of school. So you want to make sure that they would go in and check those repayment plans. And you also want to make sure that you know what your options are in the future so that you can be more in control of that when it comes to student loan. When
Women earn just, oh, I'm sorry.
you go ahead.
Women earn just 82 cents for every dollar earned by a man. Wow, that was a piece just thrown in there, but it's true. In 2025, 82 cents on the dollar.
And we just got
Here.
talking about that we hold most of the college degrees, so it's not like we're not if not more educated, but we still only earn 82 cents more. I mean 82 cents for every dollar. Yeah.
Caregiving responsibilities and lack of self-confidence lead many women into taking positions in industries that pay less than male-dominated fields. 2/3 of low-paying jobs are held by women. Nearly 1 in 5 children in the U.S. has a special health care need, representing 14.1 million kids. The estimated cost to raise a child with special needs is around $70,000 a year. Over a lifetime, expenses associated with caring for a child with special needs are estimated to run about $1.5 to $2.4 million. It's all depending on the disability.
Yeah. And these statistics we're bringing up because generally, women are usually given the caregiving responsibility, so that
Uh-huh.
I'm away from work in most cases to take care of the children and especially special needs children. And so that's kind of why that statistic came into play.
Nearly 70% of 75, whoa, nearly 75% of women do not have a plan to reach their financial goals, including retirement.
And so you may not know what the future look like, but we want you to take the necessary steps today to prepare for your financial future and the future of any special needs children, especially. And then also don't forget to include yourself. Just like I said, most of the time
That's
we're
right.
paying for everyone else and we kind of like leave ourselves out of it. But we want to make sure that the 75% of women that don't have a plan, get a plan. And so that's part of the reason why you're here today. We want to make sure that you have a plan. And if you have a plan, we want to make sure that you get a chance to reevaluate it. And if you don't have a plan, we want to encourage you to get one and to also share the message as well.
That's right. Domestic violence is our nation's #1 public health issue per the CDC. 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in her life. 99% of domestic violence victims will also suffer financial abuse. Domestic violence hotlines in the United States receive approximately 20,000 calls each day.
And so we want to talk, and I'll make sure, I forgot, I need to put the number to the hotline. I usually have it up, but I'll put it in the chat as well. But women, one of the things that if you or someone that you know, how can they, if they're victims of financial abuse, which usually is the case for all of domestic violence abuse victims, it's generally financial abuse is right there with it. And so we want to make sure that they know that they can reach out to the community for resources, of course, family, and start developing a plan. Starting over, in most cases is hard, but it's short term, meaning that you can get a plan and start building and start rebuilding. One thing about finances, to give you guys some hope, if you lose it, guess what? You can rebuild it. They're still making money. And I don't mean to make light of it, but sometimes we just tend to think, okay, I lost it all or I messed it all up. In some cases, we just weren't good through it. And we just need to know that there is a way to start over. And it's staying in abusive relationships, of course, is not a way to start over, but just getting a plan and taking charge of your destiny. And if you can find your voice, and you can, use your power, tap into it. And sometimes that means you have to lean on someone else, another female or a trusted family member to help you gain your power. But just know that finances can be regained. Finances, you can start over.
Women represent nearly 2/3 of unpaid caregivers and spend about 50% more time providing care than men. More time, excuse me, providing care than men. Women caregivers are almost 3 times more likely to end up in poverty and 5 times more likely to depend exclusively on Social Security. Almost 1/4 of American adults are part of that sandwich generation. That generation are caregivers that are taking care of children as well as helping care for elder adults, family members, or close friends. And we're kind of crunched as women. We're kind of crunched between those two caregiving situations that we take on for our families. More than 70% of nursing home residents and almost 2/3 of Alzheimer's patients are women.
Wow. And so
Wow is right.
So we know that women, we are taking time off to take care of children, special needs family members. We're also the ones taking care of parents. We're the ones taking care of, our children, special needs children and our children that are not special needs. And we're doing all that and we're paying for student loans because we're trying to go to school to get a better degree. And in some cases, unfortunately, some women do suffer financial abuse. So you take all of that and don't have a retirement plan for the future. And taking time away to take care of, to be the caregiver and do all those things lead to you earning less money, which means you'll have less to put away for retirement. And so that's why we're making sure that it's important to make sure that you're financially stable now. If you're not, let's get you stable. Let's get you on track first. And let's sit down and have an open, honest conversation about your financial situation. Consult with a financial professional. This is something you definitely don't want to wing. This is not one of those, let me just figure it out, moments. And let's plan for your next step together. And so we can find different ways to help you. And then, of course, we want to share the responsibility. Some things we're just kind of start telling people no. There's certain things, certain people. Now you can't tell a new baby no. So you can't tell the baby no, but you can tell a 35 no.
No,
So we're gonna start having
no.
learn how to say no, so that we can make sure that we have what we need, so that we can properly retire.
36% of divorcing couples are over the age of 50. Older women going through a divorce see their standard of living decline by 45%. 42% of older women rely on Social Security for 50% or more of their income. Half of married women defer investing and long-term financial decisions to their spouses. There are more than 11 million widowed women in the U.S. 51% of widowed women age 65 and older live on less than $22,000 a year. 70% of widows leave their husband's financial professional within a year of their death.
Wow.
They don't really they don't really realize while they're married, while they still have their husband, that there is a whole financial setup of personally put together or may not be put together that their husbands have created. They're not, we're not a part of the sharing or the creation of that. And yet we deal with it because our husbands pass away sooner than we do. Like this, 80% of women die single, while 80% of men die married. 42% of women are afraid they're going to run out of money by the age of 80. And 77% of women say they see money in terms of what it can do for their families.
Right. Then what they can do for their families. Now, we're not saying don't take care of your family. We're
Right.
saying you include yourself in that.
And it doesn't take a lot of money to start out. Little bit, saving a little bit every day or every week can create so much value to you and your families. It's just really important to understand that you don't need $5,000 to do this here in your hand to create. How can I make this $10, this $20 grow larger to help and to get in situations that will ease our future lives and our families' lives.
And in most cases, divorce it takes a person by surprise, and they can get and it becomes a financial devastation in some cases. But guess what? You can get through it without being financially devastated. That means getting financially educated in the process. We put together a team of us that are here, and we advocate for the rights to help to make sure that there will be enough money for your financial future. So, if you plan on, Social Security, developing a plan so that you can leave it there till you reach full retirement age so that you don't leave any of it, have to leave any of it out. And then you want to also be able to make sure that you save even more money for retirement. Sometimes people think they can only do it when you're young. You can do it when you're older. You can still save and you can still make sure that your retirement plan is working for you. And we'll talk a little bit toward the end on how to reevaluate your plans and how to, the things to look for when you're looking for a financial professional. So we're going to get into all that. Even though right now we're giving you the statistics and things, and we're giving you tips on what you can do, we're going to come back and give you some tips on how to do
Yeah.
it. So don't worry, we're going to give you some next steps. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the ladies. I'm not going to talk about all of them. So we have a book that we want to get to you if you would like a copy of it. It's complimentary. When you sit down, when you have an opportunity to sit down with Marlena and do your complimentary financial review, it does come with the book. And so in the book, we have some characters and they have different situations, life situations, such as Zoe, she's 19, and it talks about her coming into an inheritance, which like some of us, when we were 19, we came into some good bit of money here and there throughout the years. And if we could just go back a few years and whole situation, I know we all would. And so we can go back and take that. So that she's a college student, and it kind of goes through student loans, get her getting an inheritance and all those things. We also have also in here, we have Shara, domestic violence survivor, and it talks about how she combed through that situation. We have Fatima, she's a stay-at-home mom. But what did she do to prepare for her financial future? And then we have Zan, she's a retired office assistant who's an actual person. So I know some of the rest of them are characters, but Zan, she's actual. She is the mother of the author of the book. So, of the How Money Works, the original series, she's the mother of Tom Matthews. But it talks about how she was able to make smart money decisions through her younger years and throughout her life, throughout her adult life, which led to her having an awesome retirement. And so that is put in there so that we can have some ray of hope, to know that it's available for all of us. So you'll get a chance to read about all these ladies' stories. And Marlena is going to be doing a series of these master classes where she's going to actually go in and do step by step for everything. It's not going to be just just an overview of what you should do, but it's going to actually come into some step by step guide.
Candy, would you check the waiting room? I just got a text from someone who said she's in the waiting room.
Okay, I'll get a chance to check.
Okay.
I'll make sure I let everybody in.
So what are the next steps? Things that you can do
Right.
right now.
Right. So now is the time for us to set up and learn how money works. And like I said, it's never too late and you're never too old. So let's make sure we remember that. It may seem overwhelming, but I will take one step at a time and work with, Marlena and I will take one step at a time and we'll work with you. So it's tailor-made, it's not some blanket thing, but it will be where we will get with you to make sure that we have your plan put together that best fit you. So we're going to talk about some of those things.
One of the first things that I always think is important, that's just because I love to talk, but I love to listen too. Um, Talk about money. Talk about money with your family and with your friends. Talk about money with other people. You don't necessarily have to be specific, but just kind of learn about what they think at night, what they keeps them up at night. Think about how they feel about money, or maybe what they learned about money or didn't learn. Know your own financial situation by taking inventory of cash flow, assets, insurance, and your debts. Eliminate any unnecessary fees and charges, credit card debt, or bad financial habits. I have a bad financial habit. When
Yeah.
when I have a bad day, when I get down, I go shop. I know some people eat, some people drink, and I go shop. And I'm curbing that habit. I'm learning to curb that habit.
Yes. And I have a latte. So, oh gosh, just gotta have one, that
That's
$7.
gotta.
Not the $2 one, but the $7
Not
one.
the $2, the
Yeah.
$7 habits. Yeah. Continue learning about how money works. This isn't just a one-time kind of information class, a one-time conversation. It moves on. And you just need to know some of the rules of the game. Partner with a financial professional, one that you trust, one that that knows, or you can talk personally about what's going on with you and your finances. And then here comes this is a real part of mine is about creating generational legacy. We think about it all the time as that legacy as have to do with finances. But my opinion is that it has to do heavily with your knowledge and how you can share it with your family. with your friends, with your children, and in that conversation that you're having with other people. That's that generational legacy.
And so in some of the classes, Marlena, what I would like to invite the ladies that are on currently, and of course, if, you know, we're asking that you share this, Marlena is going to be doing a breakdown of each of the statistics that we talked about. Each one of them have different things that we can do. We're going to walk through all of them. Like the first one, financial education, you guys are all here. Marlena's gonna have a series of classes, and we ask that you hop on, you know, that you share the link. And in those, we're gonna do breakdown like step one, step two. You know, I hate when people tell me you should do this and you should do that, but then they don't tell you how. Like, okay, I know what I need to do, but can you tell me how? And it doesn't have to be if you're financially challenged. It could be people that have you're great, all your finances are wonderful, all your ducks in a row, you have all the money you need. So it doesn't matter if you have $10 or $10 million, these workshops will be for you. And they're all complimentary, so there's nothing to buy and there's no cost to register. They're all complimentary. We're just on that mission to do the financial education. In some of those sessions, we'll be talking about proper protection, making sure that what you're working on, Marlena wants to make sure that you're properly protected. A lot of times we lose generational wealth because we weren't protected. Emergency fund, you know, life happens. Life is always happening. That's the whole part of living. When life stops happening, that means
Always happening.
not living. So, you know, so we want to make sure that you have emergency funds, talk about different situations or different techniques, and give you some tips on how to even make that grow and work to your advantage. We're going to talk about debt management. I know it's one of Marlena's favorite things to talk about. You know, she is a credit expert. She likes to help her clients, not just her real estate clients, but her credit education clients. She likes to make sure that their debt is manageable, preferably no debt, but you know, there's some things that we do need debt for. And so Marlena, she's an expert in that area. So that is going to be one of the sessions. Cash flow. Look, if you're working like we just talked about, women earn 82% to every dollar that a man earns. So in that regard, we have less money that we earn. So if there's some situations where you want to earn more money, we'll make sure that we even have an opportunity that we can share with you. And so we'll talk about that and some things that you can do to earn additional income and how to properly manage your expenses. Building wealth. We'll talk about avoiding the impact of taxes. I mean, come on, who wants to pay taxes? And when we do have to pay taxes, because there's some situations where you will have to pay taxes, but why overpay? So we'll talk about how to combat losses and inflation, how to accumulate and grow access for your future, and then protecting it. We'll go through the 7 money milestones. You know, this is a roadmap that Marlena is going to help you put in place for your finances. And on that roadmap, everything that is great and is in good standing, we'll put a check mark by that. But if we find anything in the roadmap that needs repairing, that's where we'll stop and pause and work on that for you individually. So the classes will be complimentary, and we're going to go through the 7 money milestones in each one of those. And so be on the lookout for an email from Marlena that's going to have the registration link for these workshops, and we do ask that you share them. Anything you want to add about the roadmap, Marlena?
Um, it is a roadmap. I mean, it is, you know, you can't get from here to someplace that you want to go and you've never been there before without some kind of a roadmap and a GPS. And so this follows suit with it. Now, you may want to take a different turn and you may want to take another route or a more scenic route, which is all fine and good. But this can be your GPS.
So, you know, building a financial security is going to take time and effort. Even if you believe that you have everything buttoned up, it's always still good to go back and just do a refresher. So it's going to take some time, a little effort, take small steps, be consistent, watch for the significant progress as you make over time. What I love about Marlena, she's not a one appointment gal. You know, you get one appointment with her and you're done. You know, it's not how she works. She likes to take her
I'm
time.
in there.
She want to make sure that every detail is checked off every milestone that we just talked about. It's gonna make sure that you have everything that you need. And so the workshop, um, you'll roll that out. But from there, what about your personal roadmap? You have the power now to reshape your financial destiny, no matter what it looks like. And with the tools and knowledge that Marlena is going to share with you, and also the book, of course, you'll be well on your way to have a life of abundance, and most of all, creating the life, the style that you want. So I want everyone to see Marlena's number here, area code 303-564-3248. And with that, reach out to her, make an appointment, let her, and like I said, it's complimentary. Let her start the financial roadmap with you to get like a full view and not just saying, you know what, I think I'm good. And then we get down the road 20 years from now and you're like, oh man, I should have sat down with Marlena, or I could have had something, even though things may be good, they could have been great. Are they great? They could have been greater. So let's make sure that we just do all the double checks. It's complimentary. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop the recording at this moment. You want to add anything before I stop the recording, Marlene, so we can open it up for
I
Q?
just, I want to mention that all of this stuff looked like, oh my God, as we're looking at it. But you also have to have some fun in it. You also have to have, as you're gathering knowledge, it can't be so heavy that it becomes burdensome, and I don't want to take any of these steps. It's too much. It's too overwhelming. But you got to have some fun along the way. And you got to be able to get yourself ready and have yourself in place for where do you want to go? Not where I want to be, not where I want you to be, not what we're suggesting in any way, shape, or form, but how can we help get you on a GPS to where you want to be? What goals do you have? What do you want to create? That's what we're here for. That's what I'm dedicated. That's what Candy's dedicated um, to our clients, to our people who join in on the classes, who ask questions, who just want to be a part of the knowledge, and we can help.
All right, so we're going to open it up for